Hello, once again, it's Harry Moore talking about family businesses. In particular, today, I'd like to talk about the family versus the business differential. As family members in the business, we have to put aside the family differential. And this is hard to do. The family is the business, and the business is the family. You cannot completely disengage the two. A brother and sister working together are still siblings. A father does not stop being a parent to a child working in the company. Although it's hard to do, we really have to say, outside of the office, you are my brother. In the office, you are my colleague. It also means demonstrating to non family members of staff that, with regard to the working environment, everyone has the same status as colleagues. I recall one story of one family business owner who employed his son in the business. Unfortunately, despite much support and performance management, the son did not fulfill his soul satisfactorily. His father felt he had no option but to dismiss him. He called him into his office and told him, "I'm speaking to you now as your employer. Despite you giving you full support, this is not working, and I am unfortunately going to have to let you go in the interests of the business." The son was, of course, surprised, as he was the owner's son. How could this happen? The owner then addressed his son again. "Now I'm talking to you as your father. I understand you've lost your job. How can I help you with your father to find something that's more suited to your skills and your ambitions?" So the message here is that as a manager, he had to make a commercial decision, which was unrelated to his family relationship with the young man. Nevertheless, he was still a father, and as such, he had a real desire to help. So, wherever possible, we need to differentiate between family and business. And there's one good way of doing that, and that is to what I call the family executive board. I've been to family companies and attended board meetings, which sometimes can last all day. And we often talk about who's picking up the children, the family barbecue, holidays, etc. So all the family matters get mixed up, and we get a protracted meeting, which isn't always focused. The way around that, to my experience, what I've done is to create a family executive that discusses all the family matters concerning the business in a different meeting, a different platform, enabling then the official board meeting to get on with their job and do it far more effectively and efficiently. We can extract the family agenda from the business by dealing with it separately through this executive board or family council. And typically, the agenda on that family council or executive could be, first of all, business strategy and objectives, corporate governance matters, personal objectives of family members. That's very, very important. Roles and responsibilities of family members, succession planning, the remuneration of family members, dividends, the dividends policy. You may not want to discuss that with the rest of the board, unless, of course, you have directors that are going to be receiving dividends. And the role of family members in the business, shareholding, and of course, retirement and succession matters. So these are some of the things that you might want to include in your family executive board meetings. It's also a platform to discuss the business from a family perspective, but in a more structured manner than informal meetings of the family. In my experience, it's usually better to get an external advisor, such as me, or someone like me, to chair the meeting, or at least be there in attendance to keep things on track, because sometimes If it's left entirely to the family, things tend to go adrift. On this other person, it could be your trusted external accountant, or it could be another advisor, such as a family business specialist, or it could be simply somebody outside the family that you trust. So this is not a meeting of the board of directors. That should carry on as normal. The family executive could and probably should include members of the family who are also not employed by the business but can be influential, such as spouses, partners, brothers, sisters, etc. But people who have a vested interest in it can be shareholders, for example, that are members of the family. Alternatively, there may simply be people who have an influence on the performance of the business or whose input in the family, and particularly advice. So that's it. We're talking about family matters and the family executive board. One of the other things we can do to differentiate between family and business is to create a family constitution. We'll talk about that another time. Thank you for listening and watching, and I hope you found it useful. If you found this interesting, please do subscribe, and I'll see you again. Bye.